Assalamu alaikum, my dear student. How are you? I hope all of you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And I am Muhammad Golam Mortuja and I am your physics teacher. Today I will discuss two creative questions from chapter 2. And this is my request to you. Please give your full concentration in this class and learn these two creative questions. Okay? Dear student, this is our first creative question, and here you can see that there is a graph, and the graph shows the velocity versus time. Here the x-axis is indicating time and y-axis is indicating velocity. From the graph OAB, that means OAB, this line is indicating for the first car, and CD, this line is indicating for second car. Okay, the first question, number A, is what is periodic motion? Do you know what is periodic motion? If the motion of a moving object is such that it passes repeatedly through a definite point in the same direction in the same manner in a definite interval time, then this motion is called periodic motion. Now I will give an example and it will more clear for you what is periodic motion. Okay, the speed of a fan which is rotating at a certain speed, that is the example of periodic motion. What is also the example of periodic motion? I hope you understand what is periodic motion. Dear student, number B question is why the traveling distance is not equal when same amount of force applied of different mass bodies. Dear student, we know that there is a relation between force, mass and acceleration. Okay, and the relation is F equals to ma, where F is force, m is mass and a is acceleration. Okay, so when the same amount of force applied to the different mass bodies, the bodies get different amount of acceleration, because here you can see that the acceleration a equals to F by m. Okay, that's why if we apply the same amount of force for the different mass bodies, then the acceleration will be different. Okay, different acceleration produce the different velocity, because we know that there is a relation between acceleration and the velocity. Okay, because the rate of change of velocity is called acceleration. Okay, so the bodies travel a different distance. I hope you understand why the traveling distance is not equal when the same amount of force is applied for the different mass bodies. Dear student, our C number question is determine the acceleration of the first car. Okay, that means we have to use that slope for the first car OA and AB. So at first we have to use the first 20 seconds. Okay, here you can see that the car is moving with a velocity. Okay, and that's why there is an acceleration and we have to find it. So from OA graph, here you can see that the initial velocity here, that is the initial velocity. Initial velocity u equals to 0 meter per second, and the final velocity at that point A, here you can see that the final velocity is 40 meter per second. Okay, and the time between O and A, here you can see that the time is 20 seconds. Okay, so time t equals to 20 second. And we have to find out the acceleration. Okay, so the acceleration A equals to what? Okay, and we know that the relation between initial velocity, final velocity, time, and the acceleration, A equals to V minus U divided by T. Okay, so if I put all of the value in that equation, and then the final velocity V will be 40 minus the initial velocity U is 0 and the time is 20, and after calculating this we will get 2 meter per second square. Okay, so the acceleration of OA is 2 meter per second. And for the next 20 seconds, here you can see that for the first car and for the next 20 seconds, the car is traveling with a uniform velocity. That means in that slope, the initial velocity is 40 and also the final velocity is 40. That means at that place, that means for next 20 seconds, that means for AB slope, the acceleration will be 0 meter per second square. Okay, I hope you understand how can we find the acceleration of the first car for the different slope. Okay, and you have to remember that if any object is traveling with a uniform velocity, then the acceleration of that object will be 0. Okay, dear student, number D question is, which car traveling more distance in 30 seconds? Okay, and here you can see that this slope is for first car, that means OA and AB. This slope is for first car, and CD, this slope is for second car. Okay, so if I want to find out the traveling distance for first car, then I have used two equations. Why? Because here you can see that for the first car there are two slopes, OA and AB, and that's why I have used two equations to find out the whole distance for first car. Okay, for OA slope, here you can see that for OA slope the initial velocity equals to 0. That means EU1 equals to 0 meter per second. The final velocity for this OA slope V1 equals to 40 meter per second. Here you can see that the A is indicating 40 meter per second velocity, and the time for OA slope T1 equals to 20 seconds, and the distance which is covered by the first car for first 20 seconds, S1 equals to what? Dear student, we know a relation between initial velocity, final velocity, time and distance, and the relation is S1 equals to U1 plus V1 divided by 2 into T. Okay, so now I have to put all of this value in this equation, where U equals to 0, V equals to 40 and T equals to 20. Okay, if I put all of this value in my calculator, then I will get 400 meter. So S1 equals to 400 meter. Okay, for AB slope I have to use this 10-second interval, because I have to find out the distance for 30 seconds. Okay, and here you can see that the uniform velocity v equals to 40 meter per second, and the time t equals to 10 seconds, and I have to find out the distance s equals to what? Dear student, we know there is a relation between uniform velocity, time and distance, and the equation is s equals to vt. Okay, so s2 equals to v2 here 40 and t2 equals to 10, that means 400 meter. Okay, so the distance which is traveled by the first car in first 30 seconds s equals to s1 plus s2, that means s equals to 400 meter plus 400 meter, that means equals to 800 meter. Okay, I hope you understand how can we find out the total traveling distance for first car in 30 seconds. Okay, for the second car, that means for CD slope, here you can see that the initial velocity here, that is the initial velocity and that is the final velocity. Okay, so the initial velocity here you can see that u equals to u3 equals to 60 meter per second, and the final velocity for second car v3 equals to 0 meter per second. Here you can see that the final velocity for the second car is 0, and time t3 equals to, for CD slope, here you can see that the time is 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds, and I have to find out s3 equals to what? Okay, here I am indicating u3, v3, t3 and s3 because I have already used e1, v1, v2, t2, that's why this s3 distance is only for the second car. Okay, and we know that the relation between distance, time, velocity and initial velocity s3 equals to u3 plus v3 divided by 2 into t3, where u3 equals to 60, v3 equals to 0 divided by 2 into 30. Okay, so if I put all of this value in my calculator, I will get 900. Okay, so s3, that means the distance which is traveled by the second car in 30 seconds is 900 meter, and here you can see that 900 meter is greater than 800 meter. So I can say that which car traveling more distance in 30 seconds? I can say that the second car is traveling more distance in 30 seconds because the second car is traveling 900 meter in 30 seconds, but in 30 seconds the first car is traveling only 800 meter. Okay, so second car is traveling more distance. I hope you understand. Dear student, this is our second creative question, and here you can see that this is the first scenario and that is the second scenario. Okay, and here you can see that what is the first scenario? The number of division of vernier scale in slide calipers in 10, and the length of one smallest division of the first main scale is 1 millimeter. The length of a rod obtained with the help of instrument is 3.27 centimeter, and the main scale reading is 3.2 centimeter. Okay, and the second scenario, here you can see that there is a stone, and here the object which is suspended by a thread. Here the stone of mass 50 grams, that means this stone is thrown vertically upward from position A with a velocity 20 meters per second. The acceleration due to gravity of that place is 9.8 meters per second square. So the number A question for the second creative question is, what is periodic motion? I have already discussed what is periodic motion, so here I am not discussing about what is periodic motion. Okay, dear student, here you can see that number B question. Number B question is, explain why value of efficiency is not greater than 1. Okay, efficiency is the ratio of output and input energy. Okay, from the efficiency formula we know that efficiency eta equals to P prime by P, where P prime is the output energy and P is the input energy or power. Okay, so according to the law of conservation of mass and energy, we cannot get more energy than the input energy. We will not get the more output energy than the input energy. Okay, on the other hand, some part of the total energy is always wasted as heat and other energy. That's why this is not possible to get the output more energy than the input energy. Okay, and so that the value of efficiency cannot be greater than 1. Okay, I hope you understand why the value of efficiency is not greater than 1. Dear student, number C question is, determine the vernier superimposition in case of scenario 1. Okay, that means from the scenario 1 I have to find out what will be the vernier superimposition. Okay, and here you can see that in number 1 scenario there are some given values. Okay, the number of division of vernier scale, here you can see that 10, and the number of division of vernier scale is denoted by n equals to 10, and the length of one smallest division of main scale which is denoted by s, and here you can see that the value is 1 millimeter. Okay, so s equals to 1 millimeter. The length of instrument, here you can see that the length of a rod obtained with the help of instrument is 3.27 centimeter, and this is denoted by L, and the value is 3.27 centimeter. The main scale reading, which is denoted by M, and the value is 3.2 centimeter. Okay, and I have to find out the vernier superimposition, which is denoted by V. Okay, if I want to find out the vernier superimposition, then at first I have to find out the vernier constant. Okay, because with the help of vernier constant I have to find out the vernier superimposition. Do you know what is the equation of vernier constant? The vernier constant is denoted by VC, okay, which is S by N, where S is 1 millimeter and N equals to 10. So the answer will be 0.1 millimeter. Okay, but here all the value are in centimeter scale, so I have to convert this millimeter to centimeter. Okay, and it will be 0.01 centimeter. Okay, so the vernier constant is 0.01 centimeter. Okay, and after that the vernier scale reading L equals to M plus V into VC, that is not S, this is multiplication. I have to find out the vernier superimposition V, so V into VC equals to L minus M and V equals to L minus M divided by VC. If I put all of the value in this equation, I will get L equals to, here you can see that 3.27 minus M equals to 3.2, and the vernier constant, okay, I have already get this value 0.01. The vernier superimposition V equals to 7, and that is the answer. I hope you understand how can we find out the vernier superimposition by using all of this value. Dear student, here you can see that the number D question, and number D question is analyze the reason why the stone cannot displace the object suspended by thread in scenario 2. Okay, that means if the stone hit the object, why it cannot displace the object, I have to find out the reason. Okay, so here you can see that some values are given here. Okay, the initial velocity for the stone, here you can see that U equals to 20 meter per second. The acceleration due to gravity at this place, G, equals to 9.8 meter per second square. And the final velocity, when this stone will reach its maximum height, the final velocity will be V equals to 0. Okay, the maximum height H equals to what? And we know that the relation between initial velocity, acceleration due to gravity, final velocity and the height. Okay, and the relation is V square equals to U square minus twice GH. Okay, and if I want to find out the height, then this equation will be look like that, minus 2G. Okay, V equals to 0 square minus 20 square divided by minus 2 into 9.8. So if I put this value in my calculator, I will get 20.41 meter. Okay, that means the stone will reach the maximum height of 20.41 meter, and distance is greater than the distance between A and B, because here you can see that the distance between A and B equals to 18 meter. Okay, so here we can see that the stone will reach at the maximum height of B. Here we can see that ignoring the wind barrier, the stone can rise much higher than the object which is suspended by a thread. Okay? But if there is an obstruction of wind, the stone may not reach the height of the object. Okay? And it may not displace the object B, which is suspended by a thread. On the other hand, if the object is suspended by a very strong thread, then the stone will not be able to displace the object. Okay? So I hope you understand why the stone cannot displace the object suspended by thread in scenario 2. Dear student, I hope you have enjoyed the class and you have learned these two creative questions which I have already discussed with you. Inshallah, next time, see you again. Assalamu alaikum, dear student.